Welcome, No DQ Galaxy, to another episode of What's NXT. I am, of course, the wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, joined this week by a very special guest, our friend the Professor, Noah Foster. How's it going, Noah?
Going very well. How are you?
I am, I've been better. Work has changed my schedule this week, and it's actually kind of amazing that I'm getting this show done. The General Jerry Slaughter, who is normally at my side, he actually has to work super late tonight and tomorrow night and the rest of this week. And next week, I have to pull the same shift. It's 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., and I've got to pull 12s all week long. So, the odds of airing the NXT party tomorrow are very slim. But if I manage to get out of work early like I did today, then it might happen. Although I doubt that the general will be with me. If Noah's free, we might have Noah. I haven't figured that out. I'll figure that out tomorrow. However, I am pleased to bring you this episode of What's NXT. Although there will not be an episode of What's NXT next week, and there will not be an episode of the NXT party next week. That is for sure. But for the episode of NXT for December 12th, 2018, I am here with the Professor, Noah, as I've said. Noah, what did you think about this episode?
I thought it was a pretty good episode. There was a decent amount of everything, and I really wasn't bored or dropped off from anything. We had 4 matches. We had, I believe, 2 promos, 3 if you count the Donovic build, and we had, I believe, 2 interviews. It was a pretty good show all around.
It was a loaded show. It didn't feel as loaded as it was. And yeah, I've said before, the perfect number of matches for an NXT show to me, 4 matches. Five means either you really didn't give enough to a couple of these matches, or you're just cramming them in. And I do like the idea of minimal or no video packages, but this show was a good mix-up of everything. 4 matches. We had several video packages, several interviews, several promos. They were all spaced out very well. You didn't double up on anything. And this was actually a very good episode of NXT. I don't know if it was great. It was definitely better than average, I think.
Agree.
So the first thing I want to note about this show, and I don't know if you noticed this. I was going to bring it up earlier, but I thought, no, I'll wait for the actual episode. We have a brand new video intro. I don't know if you noticed this. I'm not sure how often NXT changes up the graphics and the video clips and everything for the intro that plays with the music, but this week was brand new. And maybe it was as well last week. I didn't notice, but I definitely noticed this week.
I think it's actually been changed since the last takeover, but you're right. They have changed a couple of the vignettes during the intro.
Oh, I think the whole thing is different. Even the dynamic of the graphics and the layout and some of the I guess filters you would call them, the whole thing is different. But I guess this is the first time I've noticed it. But I really appreciate that. I really like when they keep up to date with the video clips they use for the montage, and to show the different wrestlers that are wrestling now, as opposed to having people in the intro that are associated with NXT, but not necessarily, on the shows. Maybe because they're injured, or maybe because they are getting called up, and so they've disappeared. But in this one, the only thing I noticed was, I believe Nikki Cross is still in the intro. And
I think you're right, and that's probably just due to the whole Candice LeRae thing. I'm sure that's still going on.
Well, it's interesting to me that she did show up on SmackDown, but only once, and that's weird. I don't think we've seen them do that a lot, where they take an enhancement talent from NXT and use them on the main roster just to drop them back into NXT again.
Yeah.
But the very first match of the night that we get is probably got the most build for it over the last several weeks. And that's because Bobby Fish finally came back and took out EC3 with a chair. And we haven't seen EC3. Where was he out? Like a month and a half? Something like that?
I think they actually said 2 weeks, actually. They reflected it 2 weeks ago.
Well, no. I mean, he was gone after the chair shot.
Oh, yeah, you're right. When chairs are happening, he's been gone for pretty much a month.
Yeah, I figure it was a month. Maybe 5 weeks, but probably 4. But with NXT, it feels so much longer because they do everything so much more correctly, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get Bobby Fish accompanied by the Undisputed Era versus EC3 in a grudge match. And I was expecting this match to fall into disqualification because you've got three members of the Undisputed Era on the outside. EC3's got nobody. And if I'm speaking honestly here, EC3 versus Bobby Fish doesn't look like a straight up match. Like, it looks like Bobby Fish is an enhancement talent jobber being fed to EC3. I mean, I know how good Bobby Fish is, but still. In this case, I figured EC3 would get close to a win, and then there would be interruption from the guys on the outside. We'd have a disqualification, and then put off a follow up match for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I was considering that too, considering you had the entire era on the outside. But no, we got pretty much a similar finish to the first encounter. Somehow EC3 comes up with a win, and there was a beatdown. However, they really did surprise us with the aftermath.
Well, yeah. Do you have any notes from the match? Because to me, this seemed like a very basic NXT TV match. Not really any high spots or anything like that. There were a few things that I noted. There was this really sick looking spot, completely unintentional, I'm assuming. Bobby Fish gets whipped into the ropes, and I guess he's a little low coming in, and his head, flies under the bottom rope with the momentum, but then he comes back because, his back still hits the middle rope and springs him back, and he gets caught up in the top rope, and that looked like, I don't know if it looked painful even, but it looked like really jarring.
It definitely looked uncomforting, to say the least.
Yeah, I imagine they get caught up in the ropes like that all the time. Like, it probably didn't hurt him too bad. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong here. Maybe it felt like, a punch to the face, but it looked like it was just so jarring, though. Like, if he stood straight back up, he would still be on wobbly legs.
Right. And that's probably kind of the story they were telling, because really it was a match of power game, distraction, attack the leg. It was really all that, the entire thing.
Well, the closest I think that Bobby Fish got, the Undisputed Era, they jump up on the ring apron, and Fish actually goes for this chop block, but from the front to the knee, onto EC3, onto the bad knee. And you know it's a bad knee because it's the right knee, because when it's kayfabe, they always work on the left.
Right.
So he goes for the right knee, and at this point, I'm like, all he needs is a leg lock, and he could possibly take this match.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like he was working towards that with the dragon screw leg whip, but
yeah, he needs to use the heel hook and call it the fish hook.
I like that.
And I think he would have gotten EC3 to tap, but EC3 actually ends up with the win with the fruit roll up. Like, even the distraction, nothing that the Undisputed Era on the outside could do without getting disqualified. And so to keep the match going, they jumped up on the apron, but that's not going to get you disqualified. But that really didn't help other than the one chop block. But after that, EC3 just comes right back up with the fucking fruit roll up and pins him.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. So this was a match. It was okay. But yeah, I have no notes for all my notes are all the good notes anyway are the aftermatch. Because of course, unless EC3 immediately rolls under the ropes after the 3 count and gets the fuck out of Dodge, like, he's gonna get an aftermatch beatdown. That's what it's all about when you're a bunch of heels. Same thing on NXT UK when we've got the Coffee Brothers and Wolfgang.
Gallus.
Yeah, doesn't matter who gets the pin, doesn't matter who wins. If you don't get the fuck out of the ring as quickly as possible, they're just for fun. They're going to beat you down. And in this case, they did it because he got the win, so it's going to be, of course. So when he didn't roll under the ring, I knew that we were going to get a little bit of aftermatch fun. What I didn't expect was Heavy Machinery to come out. That was cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I believe it was a couple weeks ago they called out the entire tag team roster, and the commentators even made this point. It's one of the teams the Undisputed Era was like they don't care about. So again, it was unexpected, but it definitely felt right.
Well, I don't know how unexpected, because I figure if I thought the numbers were gonna even, well, they didn't even really even out. But I guess with Dozovich, that's 2 guys in one right there. But I figured if somebody was gonna come out and help that. I guess yeah, Heavy Machinery is up there because when they called out the tag division, they almost specifically called out the Undisputed Era because they're the champs. They're like, we want a shot at the belts, and I guess they've been undefeated for like 6 or 8 months, something like that. Although there are a number of times in the ring on television is maybe once a month, once every 2 months, so that's probably fairly easy to do. I look forward to that tag match. I actually hope that Heavy Machinery gets the belts. But I wanted to make note, O'Reilly is trying to get out of the ring. Most of the Undisputed Era has gotten away from Dodge, and they're gathering up by the end of the rampway. And Kyle O'Reilly's trying to get out there, and he gets grabbed by not one, but both of Heavy Machinery. And Tucker and Dozovich pull him back in the ring and just basically throw him on top of EC3's shoulders. And he does the 1%er. And then he pumps up Dozovich, and he gets him to do this worm elbow drop.
The caterpillar, they call it. Oh, man.
The caterpillar. Okay, I need to make note of that because I like that name because it makes sense. Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
So while I'm making note of that, what did you think about the end of this? The aftermatch is what I like to call it.
The aftermath was freaking hilarious. And the fact that all the Undisputed Era, they got out of Dodge, and Oney Lorcan's like, hey, help. They're like, come on. Nope. They didn't go back in for him. He did not get out. Kyle O'Reilly once again suffers at the hands of the tag team. It's basically like that pop-up power slam spot from War Raider. But I loved it. The top 1%, and then all of a sudden, Otis doing the caterpillar into the giant elbow drop. And I was like, no, get him out of there. It was a great aftermath spot.
Yeah, so up next, we get an interview, and we're outside. We've got Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, and they're basically talking about their problems with Shayna Baszler and her cohorts, Duke and Shafir. And basically, they just challenge them to a match, I believe, for next week. This is NXT. If they're going to lay out the challenge, probably going to get accepted. The match is probably going to get made. So this is probably just them letting us know. And spoiler alert, yeah, this is just them letting us know that next week we're going to have a tag match. And we're actually, I guess, going to see the television debut of Shafir and Duke, I believe.
Correct.
At least one of them is debuting. So that should be fun.
Yeah, it should be a fun match. We're going to see both of Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. Their in-ring NXT W Network-wide debut. They have been on house shows, and I think someone told me they actually lost the match already. But it should be an interesting debut on screen. I think the fun thing I did like about this segment, though, is Dakota Kai in a Kingslayer shirt, because, I don't know, for you people that keep with video games, they had a League of Legends thing between NXT and WWE, and Dakota Kai is now known as the Kingslayer because she killed Seth Rollins 15 times.
I just like how it's the Slayer logo lettering.
Yeah.
The text is from a Slayer t-shirt. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, I noticed that, and I'm like, Kingslayer. I'm like, I wonder if she's making fun of Seth Rollins or she's just a big fan. But, okay, good to know now. So next we get a video recap of the Mighty and them beating down Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch in the tag match that they had, 2 weeks ago?
Correct.
And this is leading up to a rematch. And honestly, I didn't think that I wanted to see this match. I was like, I was not impressed with the first one. I could skip this. I'm really glad that they put this match on. I actually probably have more notes for this match than I do anything else on the show.
Really?
Which surprised me, because I've not been a big fan of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They just seem kind of meh to me in the ring. But this match, they came out, and the story they were telling was they were pissed off about the beatdown that they received after the match last time, and so they wrestled the match like they were pissed off, and I actually enjoyed this out of both of them. Both of them looked really great. The Mighty actually looked really great, too. This looked kind of like a pay-per-view match where there were a lot of near falls. This was 100 miles an hour from the start. Fucking Oney Lorcan just basically starts the match with a tope con hero over the top rope onto both of the Mighty. And I'm like, okay, so this is setting the tone for the rest of this match. Maybe I will enjoy this. And come to find out I did. Did you like this match?
I absolutely love this match. From the opening spot to the over-the-top rope spot that you mentioned to the constant back-and-forth counters, near pinfalls. I think my biggest highlight was definitely the Mighty's combination superflex powerbomb. That almost was a near fall. And then that crazy step up off his partner after one does a power slam. He goes into a step up cannonball. Another near fall.
Oh,
and then we end with, Marl, I'm crediting you to this, the Mighty DDT, with Lorcan doing a double DDT on both members of the Mighty. And then we just had a chop fest out this world, which eventually led to a miscommunication with the Mighty and the assisted DDT for the win. I loved it.
I made all these notes, but you have just named off half of the things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I wanted to mention I called it was like a poetry in motion into a cannonball, because that's essentially what it was. And my only critique of this is, did he really expect to get a pinfall off of a power slam? Because that's basically, because the two legal men, the guy from the Mighty does a power slam, and then the other guy does the poetry in motion, the leap off of his back into a cannonball into, I believe it was one of them in the corner, seated in the corner. Fucking awesome, yes. But did he really expect to get a pinfall off of a power slam? He is not Braun Strowman,
Who wins a match with a simple power slam? I mean, there's different forms of power slams, but just the simple power slam, you're not going to win a match like that.
But yeah, there was a spot where Oni Lorcan goes, he reverses a Hurricane Rana into a power bomb, and then immediately turns the power bomb over into a single leg crab. And I'm just like, okay, even this looks like some chain wrestling shit, but I'm into this because of how he's portraying himself physically. The emotion that he's just so pissed off that, whatever, I catch your Hurricane Rana and I counter you with the fucking power bomb, and then you know what? I'm not even going to go for a pinfall. I want to make you tap.
Well, like you said, the hardest thing for superstars to do is tell a story in the ring. I think it's safe to say all four men achieved that tonight.
Oh, yeah. And then right before the spot you were talking about, Odie Lorcan and Danny Burch are going for a Doomsday device, or at least some form of move coming off of the stack of a Doomsday device, right? But this is where the Mighty reverse all of that. They get out of it, and then they knock, I think it was Lorcan, off the top rope, into seat. And then that's where they climb up and do the stacked superplex with one of them on top of the other one's shoulders.
Yeah.
And then I think they got a near fall out of that.
They did.
And then after the poetry emotion cannonball, which I think would be the spot of the night. That was probably the coolest move that I've seen all night long from the Mighty. Who the fuck knew, right? But Lorcan reverses whatever their finisher is. I still have yet to see them complete this finisher, where both of them are on opposite sides of the guy and they lift him up. He's belly down. I don't know how they finish this, because they never managed to get it done. In this case, he drops back down, grabs them both, and does a double DDT, and now everybody's down.
Yep.
And then let's see. Sorry, guys. I know I have to keep looking at my notes, but I want to make sure that I get this right. I don't want to fuck up any of this shit. And so, the spot you were talking about, the slaps. So they get back up, and Oni Lorcan starts doing these slap chops. 3 apiece, right? Yep. And the crowd's all with him. But then they turn it back on him. And both of the Mighty together slap him in the face.
Yeah.
And I think they get 2 of them in. They go for the third one. He ducks under. They end up slapping each other down. Yeah. That was fucking great. Little bit of comedy, but it's still right in there with the match and the feel of this story. And then we ended up with the assisted draping DDT.
After a headbutt, a vicious one at that.
Well, yeah, but I think he does that headbutt a lot. Like, he's one of those. There's like a couple of guys in NXT UK, and definitely Pete Dunne, who's in both NXTs, that just do that wicked headbutt. Yeah.
It seems like a staple in British wrestling, I'm thinking. I've seen it a lot for both men and women. Impressive, though.
Although not as many European uppercuts as you would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get the assisted draping DDT for the pinfall. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch get the win. I just don't like that finisher because I believe that's Burch's regular finisher off of the top rope is a draping DDT. And
You
now
might be right.
he just does it off of his partner's shoulders, off of Lorcan's shoulder. Like, I'm not a fan. Have a finishing move where you both do something and not just he helps you with yours. Unless if Oni Lorcan is the legal man, maybe he does his finisher in a way that I don't know. I don't even know what Oni Lorcan's finisher is, honestly. Do you?
Not sure either. It's been a while since I've seen him do like a singles match and actually pull off like his finisher, so I would have to look back to actually give you information on that.
So yeah, this
Nope,
is this.
people comment.
Yeah, so this is the second win for Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch in this feud. So I think this should be put to bed. It was a great match. I don't think they could do a better match, the two teams together. They both need to move on. My question for you is, where does the Mighty go from here? Because it seems like either their contract's done and they're going to be let go, or for some reason they're going to get called up to the main roster. And for them, I'd say probably to Raw. Like,
Yeah, at this point, you have to imagine, what else can we do? We've faced all these teams, and we've lost the end of the feuds, but in the end, we still look strong, but, I mean, we're not going anywhere. It's not like we're going to be put into a title picture in a much terrorist match. I have to go with you on this one. I think they're worthy of going to the main roster, and Lord knows Raw needs all the help he can get. So I say move them up to Raw.
I don't think they're ready. I don't know. They look good in the match that I saw a few weeks ago with them and the Street Profits, but I think the Street Profits looked ready, but not so much the Mighty. I don't think they're ready. Maybe you can break them up and have a story where one of them betrays the other one, something like that. Break them up and have them have a feud for a few months.
I wonder if either of them are under 205, because it could be a similar situation which you do with Buddy and Murphy when they were tag champs. You might be onto something.
Well, I mean, unless they do something to repackage to rebuild this team, I don't think there's very far that the Mighty can go from here.
Right.
They're certainly not going to get into the tag title picture anytime soon, I don't think. So, how do you create interesting television with them? You break them up. You do a 2 or 3 month storyline where it shows the break of the Mighty. And then you could always put them back together.
Unless they do like another Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Cup, maybe they can rebuild them for that somehow. And bring in some new teams in NXT.
Maybe that would be a good way to rebuild them. I don't think that I would give that championship or title or trophy or whatever it is that you get at the end of it. I don't think I would give that to the Mighty though. I think I would give that to one of the newer tag teams in the hunt. You know, just to build up something new, because the Mighty have been around for a while. Like, to me, they seem like the best candidate to win the Dusty Rhodes Classic and to do nothing coming out of it. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Baron Corbin of the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Oh, good.
So, moving on. Up next, we have a video recap of Tommaso Ciampa last week in the main event, where Aleister Black comes out and interrupts, and he wants a title match, but then Gargano comes out, and he completely ignores Ciampa because he's fucking nuts. It's Ciampa, and he's wearing the title, and all Gargano sees is Aleister Black.
Yep. Not finished.
So this lets us know basically that we are going to get the cage match that they alluded to and basically agreed to in the match, which you knew it was going to happen. Right. And that's next week. We're going to get that fucking match next week. And I'm not going to get to do a show about it. I'm so mad about that. I might have to do a double episode or do 2 episodes the week after, or maybe wait till the weekend. Maybe if I can.
Either way, you know you're going to watch it. Just find the best time that works for you.
I don't know. I think if it gets close to a week late, either you do a double episode or you just let it go.
Well, I mean, you double up in NXT UK. Why not NXT?
Well, we do that because both those episodes come out on the same day.
Right, makes sense.
So one of them's not a week late. You know, a week later, everybody's seen Russell Talk's review of it and everything else. That, you know, most people probably won't want to watch it. But I definitely want to recap that match. That cage match between Gargano and Aleister Black should be awesome. probably going to be the main event. I mean, how do you have a cage match that's not the main event on NXT regular television?
Yeah, and figure out how often they do still cage matches as well. They're actually very special when they happen in NXT. And to my knowledge, I think they've always been the main event. But I think there's only actually been one other one outside of a takeover, and that was Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young.
This is one of those things that Aaron Rift harps on all the time. The less you do something, the more special it is when you actually do it. So that's just one of those things. Like, they don't do just any match. They do matches that make sense for the feud. And so when you do it that way, you don't have as many cage matches. You don't have as many Falls Count Anywhere matches. And I don't think we've seen him break out a hardcore match or anything like that yet.
Let's see. Last woman standing. There was I think tornado tag. I think you're right about the hardcore.
I think the closest that we might have gotten would be the street fight between Gargano and Ciampa.
Yes.
So up next, we have a cell phone promo from Gargano, a selfie promo.
Yeah.
And basically, he challenges Aleister Black in how Aleister Black has said that he absolved Johnny of his sins. And he said, I didn't sin. I didn't do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. He's very Machiavellian about it. He still thinks he's the good guy. This is him being completely delusional. Yep. But it's very entertaining. I enjoyed this. What did you think about this promo?
I thought, once again, it was an amazing phone selfie promo, as you put it. You basically hit the nail on the head. The opening line, I never sinned. I did nothing wrong. The end has to justify the means. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He basically talked about how I'm just doing what everybody wants. Everybody wants me to become NXT champion. Think of all the kids that wanted to happen, okay? I'm still Johnny Wrestling. But he also then went down that deep rabbit hole, like you said, where he talked about being locked inside with the devil. I'm not afraid, and I'll do whatever it takes to win. But bottom line, I'm going to make sure I don't only turn the chapter, I close the book on Aleister Black. It was a very good promo. I cannot wait for this match.
Yeah, I'm trying to coin the phrase Johnny Evil, because I think that's where he's going. He's not just going to be a heel, or like Ciampa, a great heel at that. He's going to be evil. Yeah. Somebody who is just bad, but they don't know they're bad. They're not even self-aware yet. He's just going to be
anti-hero in his own mind, almost like a Venom when you think about it. Especially just from his Titantron, you kind of get the feel from it right there.
Venom or Punisher, the ends justify the means.
She's done.
So this is the spot where we have the most heavy of the non-wrestling vignettes, because we get the cell phone. Well, we get the video recap and the announcement for the match next week, which leads into the video, the cell phone promo from Gargano, which leads into a video package for Donovan Dijak, now known as Dijakovic, or Dijakovic. Right. As I like to call him, Dijakoff, because this is the worst name switch that they could have possibly done. His name already kind of sounded like it was going there, and they just completely went there. The word jackoff is in his name. Just saying. Just saying, like, fucking dumb. But the video package looked good.
Yeah.
He looked like a pretty badass guy. I mean,
feast your eyes.
Yeah, feast your eyes. And again, for next week, he debuts. Well, re-debuts, relaunches. Let's call it a relaunch.
Yeah, repackaging. But I guess it is like a debut on actual NXT TV. I've seen him at house shows. We're going to be in for something special.
So that leads into an interview backstage with Shayna Baszler, and she's got her compatriots. She's got Jessamine Duke. She's got Marina Shafir. Yeah. And basically this is just them accepting the challenge. They laugh in the face of the challenge, and whatever, yo, we'll fight you. And
whoever wins at the number one contender, apparently all they're getting at TakeOver is a hospital bill.
Yeah, so we've got that Fatal 4-Way coming up, and I think that's in 2 or 3 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, that was next, because we get a tweet from William Regal, And he says the second person in this Fatal 4-Way match has been decided. There was a qualifying match at a house show, so they show a little video of the spots in the match, basically in the ending, where me and the General Jerry Slaughter, we called this Lacey Evans, of course. Yes, the women's right. Does this surprise you that Lacey Evans is going to be in this Fatal 4-Way? Doesn't surprise me.
No, especially when you heard what his opponent was. And I figured she's deserving of it. She's been on a roll.
Yeah, she's had like 3 or 4 big wins in a row. Well, maybe not big wins. There might have been 1 or 2 big wins in there. She beat.
Definitely up there.
Well, she beat Candice LeRae. That was a pretty big win.
Yep.
So next we have finally a match, and not much of one. This is one of those matches where they sacrifice some time here for the rest of everything else. Of course, we got a lot on this show, so I guess you got to sacrifice time where you can. We get Mia Yim versus Reina Gonzalez, who comes out with a cowbell and jean chaps. And who didn't think she was jobbing to Mia Yim? Oh, did I give it away? Yeah. Yeah, she jobbed to Mia Yim.
Spoiler alert.
Well, Yim's had a few losses. I guess she needed a win, and Reina's just coming in. I think she's been around not even a year yet. So she's definitely got some time to get some wins back and build her character and get a push and all of that. But in this case, yeah, I was actually surprised by the amount of notes that I had. I have like two notes besides the ending. Was there anything in particular that stood out in this match to you?
Well, as far as the match, not really. It was pretty back and forth. It really came down to attempted guillotine, counter. Attempted guillotine, counter. Attempted guillotine, she gets hung up and dropped. We get some beat down. I figure we get a little bit of Spanish, and she's like, come on, or stand on, or something like that. And then it basically ends with her just slapping or chopping, whatever you want to call it. I think they call it knife-edge chops. And you're about to get checked. What is it? Eat defeat. Shout out to Gail Kim. Mia wins.
Yeah, we do get a spot from Gonzalez where she drapes Yim over her shoulders like a dominator, and it's some form of torture rack, I guess. And I didn't think she was going to get
they call it a backbreaker rack.
Well, whatever you want to call it, it didn't look convincing like she was going to tap.
Yeah.
But she gets out of that and pretty quickly turns it back around and drops her with the eat defeat, and that's the 1, 2, 3. And Mia Yim moves on. She is the third entrant into the Fatal 4-Way for the #1 contendership for the NXT Women's Championship. That's a lot to say. But I guess we're going to get, hopefully, the last contender is going to be decided in a match next week. Did we even get that? No?
No, they didn't say anything about the last
Nothing.
contender. So
we just know that in 2 weeks' time, we're going to get the Fatal 4-Way itself.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Rico does another Twitter announcement that this person won at a house show. And if I were to have to guess who the last opponent would be, Candice LeRae?
If you qualified the third participant on NXT TV, you damn well better qualify the fourth one too. You can't just go back to them winning at a house show and showing some footage in a bid cap. Oh, let me tell you, if next week we don't get the final qualifying match for this Fatal 4-Way, then I'm going to be upset.
I don't blame you.
Maybe I won't even remember to be upset about it, but no, because if they're going to have to announce it at some point who the fourth participant is. So at that point, I'm either going to be really happy that we get the match or really upset that we get a video recap of a house show match. But anyway, we get a bookended promo. Finally, this, like I said, this was a huge stack of vignettes. Just not matches, just vignettes. Other than the 5-minute match, maybe. But we finally get the bookend to the Johnny Gargano promo that we saw, 10 minutes ago. And this is Aleister Black being Aleister Black. I don't have any fucking notes for this other than just a promo from Aleister Black. He's going to win. He's going to make Johnny Gargano fade to black. And that's that. And do you have any notes for it?
The 1-2 words that stick out, human race. How he talks about how we act based on how we feel. He's saying, I don't feel. He's just saying, I have to end you. This is simply what I must do. There's no, you're beyond absolution or redemption and all that stuff, total annihilation. So you and everything you've done will fade to black. Simple as that.
Yeah, as he said last week in the main event, he showed Johnny Gargano mercy.
Yeah.
He's prepared to leave it there, but Johnny didn't want to leave it there. He wanted some more of Aleister Black. And so, like he said, he'll fight him anywhere, even in the parking lot, which didn't work out too well for him last time, as Gargano
that was a
so
good
succinctly mentioned to him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that cage match, and hopefully that will be the end of that feud, and we can concentrate on Ciampa versus Black for the title. I'm really, really, really hoping that Johnny Gargano doesn't win the match and then get inserted into the title picture to make it a three-way, because I don't think this is where you put Johnny Gargano back into the ring with Ciampa. They're going to do it. You know they're going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Stave it off a little bit longer. Unless you're putting him in there to help Ciampa retain, which doesn't even make sense with this version of the heel character of Johnny Evil.
Mm-hmm.
So I really hope it doesn't become a triple threat. That's my only prayer for next week's match. But finally, we are on to the main event, and it's something we haven't mentioned all night. But I remember they mentioned it at least twice during the show, that the main event was going to be Ricochet in an open challenge for the North American Championship title. And who answered the challenge, Noah? Did you guess it? I didn't guess it. I would have never guessed this.
I didn't guess that in a million years.
Prince Pretty.
Wow.
Tyler Breeze, I think, took 2 seconds into his music. Because, he's got that intro where it sounds like there's, I guess, paparazzi. And then they recognize him. And then that's when you get the sounds of the flash camera. And then his music. And then blah, blah, blah. Yeah. About 2 seconds in, I'm like, isn't this normally where we would start getting fandangos? Oh, my God. It's going to be Prince Pretty. And sure enough, Tyler Breeze comes out, and the crowd loved him.
They blew up.
This is a crowd that has been going to NXT for a while. Because these people saw him. I know most of the people in this audience saw him wrestle at some point while he was in NXT. Just the way they loved on him. Just they kept calling the match, what was it, Gorgeous? This is gorgeous.
This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous.
They started off the match by giving him a welcome back chant, which I thought was great. But the match itself, I don't think was as good as the tag match, but it was pretty good. It was a pretty good match. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It was what I expected out of Tyler. Actually, I think Tyler Breeze did a lot better than I expected him to, honestly. Ricochet didn't do quite what I figured. Like, there was a couple spots in there, like, that I thought just... Like, there was that one spot where he does the backflip off the middle rope, like he's going for a lion salt. And Adam Cole would super kick him in the face during it. Right. But in this case, I think Prince Pretty super kicked him, but he waited until he got done with the backflip.
Yeah, he stood on his feet and just a super smile kicked him in the face.
And I'm like, yeah, that didn't make either one of them look all that great. Like, it looked like a good spot, but my mind immediately goes back to what Adam Cole did. And I'm like, yeah, no, like, this is bullshit. Why didn't they do the spot? So, Prince Pretty is...
They just couldn't recreate as good as Adam Cole sold it. I don't know.
Well, Tyler Breeze is the prince of the super kick. Because I think he lands like 4 or 5 of them during this match. But not a fucking one of them gets him the title. And, spoiler alert, nothing gets him the title. He does not win this match. He puts up a decent fight, but most of my notes are about Ricochet. The only really good spot that I saw that Breeze kind of leveled the playing field to be able to make the match go over 10 minutes, because I think this was like a 12 or 13 minute match, believe it or not.
Approximately. Yeah, approximately. It's a little under the 15.
So Ricochet goes to jump off the apron to do something. I don't know what he was going to do. Maybe a double axe handle or something, but Breeze drops him with a drop kick. And you can tell he knocked the wind out of him. And this is where Breeze is able to do a little bit of ground, do a little bit of just whatever he can to keep Ricochet off the top rope. But it's still, I mean, at no point during this match did I think Tyler Breeze was going to win. Even when he does that supermodel kick, they called it, into
a reverse Rana. That was probably the closest near fall he got of the night.
That was a reverse Rana driver.
Mm-hmm.
Because he planted him like a pile driver. and it was a near fall, but this was toward the end of the match. Like, you'd think after that close of a near fall, maybe it'd be another 2 or 3 minutes. No, but my next note is just fucking Ricochet wins with his. He's got that fireman's carry where he pretzels up the legs and then brings them down for a driver. Is it a Michinoku driver? Yeah. So he gets the pinfall. But there was one spot in there from Ricochet. Okay, so there's a series of... he starts off with a reversal of a German suplex. Like, he flips out of it. And then Breeze comes running in, and he throws him face first into the middle turnbuckle. And so he's sitting there on the middle turnbuckle, and we get a fucking 619, knocks Breeze out, and then comes off the rope from the apron, comes off the top rope with a springboard uppercut.
Yep.
And then a fucking standing shooting star press. Still doesn't go for the pinfall. He goes for a Phoenix Splash. And somehow Breeze rolls out of the way. He avoids it. And they start trading punches for a minute before the final spot. You know, the super kick into the reverse Rana driver and all of that. But, man, Ricochet made me smile there because it was getting close to the end of the match. But finally, at some point, Ricochet starts putting together a whole bunch of stuff that entertains the shit out of me. Because up until this point, it was an okay match, but I wouldn't call it entertaining. And it had absolutely no story. None. That I could tell, other than welcome back Tyler. Because the crowd put on the only story of the match. You know, because they were, or welcome, yeah. Because they were chanting all these chants that were specifically for him. Especially the "This is gorgeous" chant. But, yeah, I enjoyed the match at the end, but I don't know where my rating's going to be. So, what were your final thoughts about this?
Well, I mean, the other spot that definitely made me laugh is they went back to that classic line, "Don't touch me," and that got a major pop from the crowd. They're like, "Do not touch you, don't you touch him."
Yeah.
But I thought the match was okay. You had a couple of row through spots with a clothesline and drop kick, and you're right, that combination where it led to the springboard uppercut, standing shooting star press, that was freaking beautiful. Why you had to go for the finger splash though? That was like overkill, and it obviously was because he missed.
Yeah.
The other fun spot was definitely the suplex counter. There was like 7 of those, but again, that led into that whole near fall.
Yeah, going for a vertical, and they just keep trading who's going to get the vertical, and then neither of them gets the vertical, and then they go for Germans, but then they switch out of those and then flip out of them, and then it was just counter after counter. But none of this was surprising. The only thing that surprised me during this match was that Tyler Breeze was the Open Challenge challenger.
I agree. I completely agree. I honestly thought it was going to be somebody that from like Undisputed Era. There was people that I saw on Twitter they thought would be like even Keith Lee or Matt Riddle. I was like, too soon. But Tyler Breeze, not a million years would I thought Tyler Breeze. Last time I saw him was literally a house show in just a random match with someone that hasn't been on NXT yet. That's crazy.
But yeah, I didn't expect him to win, and I was not surprised by the ending. However, that is the end of the main event, and we are at the end of the episode. So this is where we normally would rate, and when Jerry's here, it makes more sense because he is, of course, the general. But we are going to still use the general's 5-star rating system.
Salute to you, sir.
Yes. We miss you, Jerry. The next time you see What's NXT, Jerry will be here. I can almost guarantee you that. Unless somehow I made it. No, there's no way I'm going to get it done next week. So yeah, in 2 weeks' time, Jerry will be back. So Noah, as the special guest and the professor standing in for the general, how many stars do you give this main event?
Again, the biggest surprise to this was Tyler Breeze, which is a lot of fun in itself. The audience more owned the match than the competitors. There was a couple of sweet spots, but like you said, there was no story. I did not see Tyler winning the title. It was a little above average, 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I'm not even going to give it up there. Even though, like I said, there was that spot at the end where Ricochet really wowed me, but too little too late for the entertainment value, considering the match was probably 9 minutes in by that point of just slow spots and shit. And so, because they spent a lot of time on the outside after that spot where Breeze drop kicked him in the chest.
Yeah.
You know, a good minute just eating up there, and I'm like, it's too early in the match for that. if this was going to be a 20-minute match, I could see this coming halfway through. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go with 3.25. Okay. I think that is more than generous for this main event. But it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. It was better than middle of the road. I will call it 3.25. And that brings us to the end of the show. We have wrapped up another episode of What's NXT. Very different one. Thank you very much, Noah, for standing in for the General. I was in a pinch and I had nobody to do the show with. It's going to end up doing a really shitty show all by myself. So I really appreciate you stepping in and helping me out. Is there anything you want to say, anything you want to plug?
First off, thank you for the opportunity. I loved watching NXT Tea Party. Keep up the good work, guys. First off, this goes out to the General. Jerry, we miss you. Hope to see you back on the next episode, definitely. Go follow him, guys, at NoDQ General. He also has a group on Facebook. That's Armbar, all caps, with exclamation point. That's capital A-R... I messed it up. Capital A-R-M-B-A-R...
exclamation point. Yes.
As far as me, you want to talk about wrestling, look me up. I now have a URL. Thanks, guys. NoDQ.com/Noah. I also do predictions. Look at my YouTube channel at Noah Foster 210. Stay tuned for Stefan, all the guys, and all the ladies in NoDQ for their predictions. And as always, support NoDQ.com, support Pro Wrestling Tees, and let's grow this wrestling community together. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And you can follow me at NoDQ.com/Stefan. That's Stefan. Or if you just want to go to Twitter and search for me, it's Stefan R. Osborne, Osborne. You can also go to NoDQ.com for all your latest news and rumors, everything leading up until this Sunday's TLC, and then upcoming the Royal Rumble, which I am personally really looking forward to. I love the Royal Rumble. Even when it's shitty, it's still good because it's the fucking Rumble, man. And
you never know who's going to come out.
Right, and now we get 2 of them every year, and it looks like, fingers crossed, The Miz is going to be number 30. Maybe he'll win. Maybe 2019 will be The Miz's year. I am hopeful of that. Other than that, go to NoDQ.com/shirts, and you can get all your NoDQ t-shirt merchandise. Oh, brand new t-shirt, NoDQ.com Galaxy. He's in there somewhere. I'm in there somewhere. Everybody that donated back in November, I believe, got put on this shirt in the donated for the NoDQ live shows in the super chat. So they got put on there. You can get my shirt if you want to sport my shirt. It's orange. That's my favorite color. And no, I don't use that as my security question for anything that I do. So I'm fine with telling everybody my favorite color is orange. Fucking love orange, if you couldn't tell. So definitely go buy a shirt if you'd like to support NoDQ.com. The best way to support NoDQ.com is word of mouth. If you know anybody that watches wrestling, just tell them about NoDQ.com. All the news and everything that you want to get to, it's all there. That's why I started going there, 19, 20 years ago. And yeah, I've been there since it was on tripod. Is because anytime you wanted to find out what was going on with somebody or something in the world of wrestling, Google was not the search engine it is now back then. Like, there could be 20 different sites that would have the words that you searched, but none of them would tell you the news. NoDQ.com, I just go there and the news would be there. Eventually I would scroll down to a news article that told me such and such person was injured and they're going to be out for this amount of time. So word of mouth is the best way to support Aaron and NoDQ. Just tell your friends that that's where to find the news. So for the Professor, Noah Foster, and for the Wizard of NoDQ, Stefan Osborne, thanks for joining us for another episode of What's NXT. We will see you in 2 weeks' time, and probably won't see you tomorrow for the NXT party. I do apologize. But after the Christmas, come back and see us, and we'll see you NXT time.
Have a good night.